Hi, everybody. This is Noelle from Petitti Garden Centers, and we're going to show you what's in store for late summer. We're here at our Oakwood Village store. We love it here. You know, Taylor and I hang a lot in our Oakwood Village store. And again, Stella's Runway is always a beautiful place to come and find some inspiration, especially with perennial color, because at this time of year, it is a good time to plant perennials because you see all of the color that's obtainable out in the garden and the landscape. Just remember, August, we usually need to irrigate, okay? So we'll talk about that a little bit more. But my goodness, there are coneflowers in full, gorgeous bloom. There are grasses that have really started to push up and flower as well. Coral bells always look great. Right behind me, this blue, this bright blue, is one of those blues that's really hard to obtain in the perennial garden. And that, of course, is your perennial plumbago, or leadwort, sometimes it's called. So the combo and the lushness of all of these flowers, gorgeous, no problem whatsoever. I do want to tell you that there are single coneflowers here, your salsa red. So if you're looking for a bird feeder type plant, obviously purchase that single coneflower for your goldfinches. Lots of birds feed off of them, but I love it when the goldfinches come by. So your natural bird feeder there, and then also great pollinator plant as well. Double coneflowers are a little bit different. That's double scoop watermelon deluxe. And I'm going to tell you, they're very fragrant, which is unusual for the coneflowers, but the doubles have a scent to them. But they're not as much of a pollinator attractant. They really don't produce the seed heads the way that the single coneflowers do, but they're very ornamental and really good in like cutting gardens. So depending on what your theme is out there in the garden and the landscape, you know, you can find a coneflower that will fit that purpose. And again, so many different colors and varieties. And we're going to show you those today as we walk around through the store. And then they couple really well with that hardy plumbago. This is a really, really tough plant. It blooms bright cobalt blue at this time of year. Started a little bit earlier, probably around the end of July this year, is continuing to bloom. And as it fades out, the foliage starts to redden up. So it has really, really good blooming characteristic mid to late summer. And then you get excellent fall foliage color into the autumn. And it is a tough, hardy ground cover. Because it's a ground cover, it does have a fairly, let's say, tough, aggressive nature to it, but not so much that you can't dig it out and move it to other places or give it away to other folks. It really grows very, very well in sun or shade. So you can throw it just about anywhere. Underneath the coneflowers, it works nicely. And then the grasses. So I have Burgundy Bunny down low. Burgundy Bunny in full flowering is maybe 18 inches tall when the inflorescence, those little bottle brush flowers, come out. Burgundy Bunny is fun because it has green mixed with red foliage to it. So it has that, you know, spiky grass look, low and mounded, very, very nice. And then right behind me, this taller one with those bottle brush flowers is going to be the very popular Hamelin. So this one, again, this is in that fountain grass family or Pennisetum family. Pennisetum will produce those bottle brush type flowers or inflorescence on the grasses, and they tend to stay fairly compact. So we've got a couple others that we can show you as well, but they are blooming and doing really, really nicely at this time of year. And again, your grasses really like it to be out in the sunny parts of the garden, drier aspects, so no problem whatsoever. Along with the coneflowers, sunny, drier, well-drained areas. Again, hardy plumbago, you can throw it just about anywhere. I'm going to say the coral bells through here. You got to make sure that those get some moisture for sure. They'll fry out in the full sun. But other than that, just full of color right now. We are here in perennials again, just further down the runway here. And we love this combo. The coral bells, again, fountain grass. This one's a little bit different than the ones I was showing you before. This is Little Bunny. So straight green, beautiful mounded variety, nice and short and compact. Again, maxing out at 18 inches with the inflorescence. I'm going to tell you the grass itself probably doesn't grow any more than 10 to 12 inches, okay? So you're going to have a low mounded grass and then your inflorescence come up. This variegated yellow daisy is actually Heliopsis. Heliopsis is what we call a perennial sunflower or a false sunflower. It is in the aster family, like all of our daisies. I've talked about that before. Really good pollinator plant. Look at that variegated foliage. This one's called Double Sunstruck. Really, really cool. That variegated foliage really stands out, super bright. And then this coral bell right here is Peach Flambe. And Peach Flambe goes through quite a few color changes, much lighter leaves in the early season, of course, and then has really darkened to a little bit more of a copper burgundy in the later summer. So really, really good combo. Another Heliopsis right next door is Summer Eclipse. Look at that one. So a little bit taller here, double sunstruck, probably around the 18 to 20 inch mark, maybe in the garden. Summer Eclipse is going to be closer to 2 to 3 foot pushing in the garden, but really beautiful bicolor flowers. Again, nice daisy for the pollinators. I just saw some some honeybees kind of flying around here, and dark stems, really kind of a dark green foliage with a little bit of purple to them, but very nice. And of course, will always be kind of, again, later color in the perennial garden, but will continue to bloom really well into the fall. So this, again, is a great plant for those sunnier spots, can tolerate the heat, the humidity, the drier spots. It's going to be a good one. I wanted to show you all, since we're kind of on the aster family and the Coreopsis is part of that. Coreopsis, native plant, great pollinator plant. I talk about it a lot, guys, but it's a great performer in the sunny garden. And look at, these have been cut back. So after that first bloom cycle, when they come through and they're budded and they're blooming, when they're about 75% bloomed out, go ahead, don't be afraid, and cut down. And let's say on the Coreopsis, sometimes you can cut just underneath the spent flowers and you'll have all this new bud coming up like these guys are. And once they're cut back, you feed them, they'll fill out again and just look as gorgeous. And they have, all of these Coreopsis have been cut back. They look absolutely phenomenal. I'm going to tell you the Uptick series has been really, really good. Very sturdy, gorgeous flowers, usually bicolor when you look at the flowers. So this is gold and bronze here, this variety. So Uptick golden bronze. There's a red over across the way that's very uniform and looks very, very similar to the gold and bronze. So it just depends on what colors you like. And there's also a yellow across the way too. So look for the Upticks. This one's really gorgeous. And as I'm looking at this Coreopsis, there are more honeybees on this variety. This is rose shade. So it really has a unique coloring to it. It's a thread leaf Coreopsis or tick seed type, what we would call. And the flowers change from peachy to pink. They have kind of a yellow eye. So it's blended. But there are so many honeybees on these flowers right now. It's amazing. So just comparatively, I see a few over here, but they're really clustered on these guys. So again, just looking for those pollinator attractants, Coreopsis is going to do an awesome job for you again. And once they start blooming early season, they'll continue to bloom themselves out for you. Just stay on top of cutting them back and feeding them. They'll do a great job for you in the garden. So we were talking about, it's really bright out here, guys. We were talking about fountain grass today. And I showed you burgundy bunny, Hemlin, little bunny. So burgundy bunny, little bunny, those are going to be the shorter, no more than 18 inches out in the garden. Hemlin's the next height. So Hemlin's about 2 to maybe 3 foot in the garden. And then Carly Rose. So again, Carly Rose is a hardy fountain grass, a Pennisetum variety. Carly Rose, you can tell, earlier bloomer than some of them. Beautiful pink inflorescence. So that's how Carly Rose gets her name. Really, really nice bright green foliage, okay? But obviously taller. So 3 to 4 foot on Carly Rose. Since we started with fountain grass, we're going to finish with fountain grass. So you're seeing all the other grasses, miscanthus and things, as they're they haven't even started blooming because they're usually later bloomers here. And then look at this. So this is a redhead. Redhead has a very large inflorescence. They are kind of dark burgundy purple. So really, really beautiful bottle brush type inflorescence here. Green foliage. This one is also that 3 to 4 footer, okay? So if you're looking for the bottle brush type grasses, they are super cute in the landscape. They are a little bit earlier bloomers than most of the other grasses that you see out there. They really do have a beautiful texture. Again, grassy, spiky texture, the little bit of fountain dip in their foliage. And then, of course, those beautiful bottle brush inflorescence. Now, you're going to say, Noelle, I know I've seen a very dark purple-leafed, fountain grass with dark, really, really showy bottle brush type blooms. That is actually called Pennisetum rubrum, and that is an annual, okay, in Northeast Ohio. So we can't grow that year-round outdoors and then expect it to come back for us. It is a beautiful ornamental grass. We love using it in containers and so forth, and we do have it, so we can show you that. But I'm going to tell you the perennials, again, you can't beat them. They'll come back for you. They'll be dependable. They'll do their thing, and they'll be super showy out in the garden. Of course, another great bloomer, it's going to be like that telltale sign of summer, late summer, the black-eyed Susan or Rudbeckia. Rudbeckia comes in a lot of different forms and varieties and species and so forth. And this one is a really neat, newer, improved variety. This is actually called American Gold Rush. It is a beautiful black-eyed Susan. Flowers are very profuse, a little bit smaller on the smaller side, but I'm going to tell you, stays really, really clean and beautiful in the landscape and garden. You probably have about 24 inches, maybe 30, but I think this one's more of a compact variety here. And look at that foliage. Nice, beautiful green, no spots, no mildew. It really has some really good disease resistance to this one. So look for American Gold Rush. I'm getting a lot of flowers on the top, and then there are a lot of side shoots and smaller flowers and buds underneath here. So we're going to get a lot more flowering through the season. Great pollinator attractant as well. So this is really one of those great, easy to grow perennials for you. Speaking of finches, we were talking about them eating the coneflowers early, eating the seed heads. There is a finch. Oh, he's flying around back there, Taylor, and he is on the black-eyed Susans. There's also a sparrow back there, which is fine, but the goldfinch is right on the black-eyed Susans, and he's biting at the cones. And I want to say, oh, there he goes. But that was great. So perfect timing, Finch. Thank you very much. One of the best late summer bloomers for us in Northeast Ohio, hardy hibiscus. So these are your very large perennial hibiscus flowers. They are related to tropical hibiscus. They are related to what we call Rosa Sharon. And but these are perennials, and they're very unique in the respect that they push all new wood, all new growth, okay, within the growing season, they grow like an inch a week or something like that. They're amazing growers once they start growing. And then in August, usually for us in Northeast Ohio, they will produce these enormous flowers. And so there are many different colors, many different varieties out there, folks. PW has an awesome series. It's called Summerific. Beautiful bloomers. I'll show you some of those. There are other varieties out there, maybe a little bit older, a little bit taller, but all of them are wonderful. And why we love these so much, they're a native plant, believe it or not. So we're going to call them nativars because they're, hybrid varieties, but they do so well in wet soils, moist soils. They can tolerate heat and humidity. They just do their thing. And what's really funny about them, and we always get calls and questions about perennial hibiscus, is when is it going to come back? And they are one of the latest perennial plants to push out of the ground. This year, they were probably very late May to early June when they actually started blooming. So again, just a cool plant, very easy to grow. They like the sun. They can grow in part shade. If you put them in part shade, don't expect them to produce as many buds and flowers, and they might be a little bit more stretchy. So they might grow up a little bit taller or have a little bit more open habit. I'm going to show you just really quick some colors. So Midnight Marvel here is a nice deep red with a darker leaf on it. This one here is, I already lost it. Starry Night. Thank you, Taylor. So Starry Night with that sort of pinwheel effect here, red coming out into the sort of white blush pink petals, nice red eye here. Cookies and Cream is one of the newer varieties. It is a pure white, as you can see, beautiful large flowers, dark foliage, very compact. You can tell it's not as long stemmed as some of the others. So this is a fairly new variety for us, but really, really beautiful. And you think about that red eye there. We always talk about, hummingbirds are really attracted to that red bullseye. Absolutely. But all of the hibiscus family attracts pollinators. So it's always going to be a good pollinator attractant in the garden. This one here with the green foliage, and again, sort of that pinwheel effect. I'm going to cheat because I can't remember. There's so many, guys. I can't even tell you. Oh, this is cherry cheesecake. Sorry. Taylor's so good. She remembers. So again, cherry cheesecake, pink, and these are secondary buds here. So a little bit smaller on this side and a little bit bigger on this side as far as the full flower formation here. French vanilla, I remember French vanilla. The reason being as this one is sort of creamy and it's very unusual coloring for a hibiscus. It has this creamy yellow hue to it. So I think it is aptly named and very, very pretty with that red eye as well. And then this one's called Perfect Storm. And again, Perfect Storm is a cool name for this because, again, you're getting that sort of pinwheel effect, beautiful red eye that kind of bleeds out into the white, slightly blushed petals. But also you have that dark, beautiful foliage here. So this is a really pretty combo out there in the garden. So do look for your perennial hibiscus. They're awesome. We're back in the nursery and look at panicle hydrangeas have been just blooming wonders the last month and a half or so. But look at this is Firelight. So Firelight is a taller panicle, usually about, it can get up to, let's say, 5 foot, 6 foot in the garden here. Look at these flowers though. They are enormous. They're like football sized. Really, really beautiful. Starts out with the white, of course. And as it continues to bloom into the fall, you're going to get more of that color development. And it's going to turn that really deep kind of rosy to cherry red. Really, really beautiful. On the other side, I have a little Quickfire. And I love the Quickfire series. And I've probably mentioned it before. It's because it's like the lace cap of the panicle family. So when you look at the quickfire flowers, you see the sterile outer petals here and flowers. And then, of course, they have the little starry flowers on the inside. So if you like that lace cap flower, the quickfire family is always really good. I'll tell you, these guys, again, they bloom early and then they really start to color up quickly too. This is just really starting here, although there's some spent flowers towards the back, but really it's looking absolutely gorgeous. So panicle hydrangeas, you can't go wrong. What I forgot to mention, and Taylor and I were talking about, is look at this Rose of Sharon. Again, this is hibiscus family, just woodier than the perennial hibiscus that we showed you. This is the chiffon series, and you can always tell the difference between the chiffon series and the satin series from PW is because they are doubled, like a semi-double. And so these flowers are really, really showy and really beautiful. So this is probably chiffon pink, or pink chiffon, excuse me. But look at all of the buds, all the flowers, all of the buds coming, really, really gorgeous. Everybody always does Rose of Sharon. They are absolutely great bloomers for us. They're great pollinator attractants for us, but everybody is concerned about the seeds and the seedlings that come up in the next years. Well, the PW series, especially the double chiffon series, they are virtually sterile. They may produce seedlings, but you know how you curb that? When they're done blooming, give them a shear, okay? And then remove those spent flowers. Guess what? You don't have to worry about it at all. But I'm going to tell you, very, very few seeds and seedlings from the chiffon series especially. Oh my gosh. So we turned the corner and we came upon these guys. So look at this. Again, hibiscus, Rose of Sharon, species, if you will. And this one is called Red Heart. Beautiful, trained, a small standard tree. So again, height on this one might be closer to, let's say, 10 to 15 foot max, but really, really gorgeous single white flowers with that red eye. Really beautiful for the pollinators, and tons loaded with buds, of course. So again, very easy to care for, sunny spots, can tolerate the heat, can tolerate the drought, no worries. And then right behind it, these big, huge white panicle hydrangeas, that's vanilla strawberry, okay? Vanilla strawberry is a very popular variety. Again, very large flowering, will produce that sort of pinky blush color into a little bit deeper rose tones. Really, really beautiful. It's a larger panicle hydrangea, again, like 5 to 6 foot, usually with the vanilla strawberry. And then down in front here, these nice lavender purple flowers is Bloomstruck. So Bloomstruck is in the Endless Summer family. And we like Bloomstruck because it has really good return power. It keeps on blooming and going. It also has very pretty red stems and red veins in the foliage too. Stands really nicely upright. So if you're looking for kind of a different habit out there, Bloomstruck can be anywhere from the blues to the pinks to the purples. It really is a cool variety to grow in the garden. Very dependable repeat bloomer, but so many flowers, lots of pollinators over here too. So we're out by the buddleia, or butterfly bush, here in Northeast Ohio. They provide a lot of nectar for your pollinators, of course. Lots of different varieties, folks. We'll always tell you, plant them in full sun, make sure they're in a well-drained spot. Give them a little bit of extra mulch. Around here in Northeast Ohio, in late November, when you're putting winter protection on your plants, little extra mulch around the base is not a bad idea for them, but blooms upon blooms upon blooms upon blooms. So the magenta pinks, the rose pinks, lavenders, whites, purples, Out here right now, I've seen, just at a glance, I see 3 monarch butterflies. I have also seen 4. There's a sphinx moth out here too that I just spotted. There are bees galore. So again, if you are into the pollinators and want them to come by and visit in your garden, butterfly bushes are a really great way to do that. Lots of different varieties, shorter varieties like Pugster, taller varieties like the Miss Series, Miss Molly, Miss Ruby. There's a monarch right there, Taylor. And so again, just great nectar providers for your pollinators. We found a newer variety of roses, Sharon. This one's called Dark Lavender Chiffon. Look at that color, sort of a violet lavender with a little bit of pink, a little bit of red in the center. Again, that sort of semi-double flower, really, really showy and beautiful. Down at the base, coral drift rose. So that's a cute combo, like the purple and the orangey tones together. And then if you want a little specimen tree, this one's called Troll. This is actually a ginkgo. It is a dwarf ginkgo, so Troll is going to stay very, very small for you. And I'd say the specimen is going to grow not much taller than what it is now. So right now, maybe 3.5 foot, up to maybe 4 foot or so. Fill out, have a nice little round top on it, but really, really cool plants. And again, for your summer color, especially late summer, good choices. There's still plenty of color out there, especially annual color. I'm going to tell you, we still have lantanas and portulacas and plenty of petunias. And you'll start to see these fall colors of petunias here. The super cals, I know we've talked about them before, but they are a combination, an interspecific hybrid between a petunia and a little calibrachoa, and they bred them together to kind of get this medium size. But what's cool about it is there are really some unique colors, the yellows, the kind of maple syrup reds, burgundies, also marshmallow, which is always really fun. So if you look above too at the hanging baskets, there's still plenty of color to have out here. And what we love about the super cals is they, and most petunias do, last well into the fall for us. These guys can even take a good frost and actually snow cover. We've had them bloom after a snow as well. So something to think about down the road. You don't have to change out your annuals just yet, but if you want to get a head start, of course, we've got some of the grasses. And remember, I was talking about fountain grass and I was talking about Pennisetum rubrum. So those are available here again to put in containers, especially if you like that beautiful burgundy color. For fall, you certainly could do that as well. There are some other types of, we'll call them grasses. This is more of a grain. This is a millet. So we have a green and a dark leafed millet that are beautiful for those kind of more fall seasonal containers as well. More of the Pennisetum rubrum. And look what we're hiding behind the Pennisetum rubrum. That's right. Mums. So the mums are tightly budded right now. We're just starting to get a small selection of them, but they'll be ready to go. And I always tell you, if you get your mums planted early, like now, remember, planting now is great. You just need to take a careful watch of your irrigation, right? Keep things, evenly moist. That's always a good thing, especially when it's hot and dry out there. And we talk about 1 inch of water 1 time per week. Deep, thorough watering is always going to be really, really good for these plants that you're planting later in the season. But mums, it's a good time to start thinking about them, okay? So everybody enjoy your late summer.